Somebody who wasn't on the list yesterday is Mike Vrabel, who was let go by the Titans. He coached in Tennessee for 6 seasons, 3 times took them to the playoffs, including 1 appearance in the AFC Championship game, won 2 AFC South titles, finished with a 54-45 record. Should Mike Vrabel be at the top of the list? If you want to chime in, you can call us at 800-636-1067.
I don't know if he's at the top of the list, but he's definitely going to garner consideration, I would think, by the Commanders. Like,
how would you feel if Mike Vrabel, if it was announced today, the Commanders fired Mike Vrabel as the next head coach? Would you feel excited? Would you be like lukewarm? Would you be
I like Mike Vrabel.
Indifferent? Or would you be disappointed? Giving you 4 choices: indifferent,
yeah,
I would be
disappointed,
no,
lukewarm, excited.
I think I fall on lukewarm. I just don't think Mike Vrabel is. There's nothing exciting about his coaching style. I mean, he smacks of winning games 21-17 and their defensive struggles and running slugfests.
But part of that's based on personnel.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, if you had Derrick Henry, you're going to run the ball.
You would do that. That would be your main
underscore the word in Cakes' sentence that he just glossed over.
Yes.
Winning.
Yeah, he's
winning games.
Right.
21-17.
You're winning, but you're kind of winning ugly.
He didn't win many games the last 2 seasons.
Sorry, I like style points. I like
Cakes is just. It's unbelievable how much Cakes is just.
Well, fantasy's ruined his life.
Yes, it has. It really has.
I approach things through a different lens.
It's winning 17-16 doesn't tickle Cakes at all.
I think that's a dinosaur.
Cakes would rather lose 31-30 than win 17-16.
I think that's a Ron Rivera-esque. It's too close to what you're already parting from with Ron Rivera.
Why?
Because it's just
he's a winner.
I like
a defensive style,
old school
defensive
linebacker, defensive guy.
Yeah. It's just that's what Cakes would rather lose 31-30 than win 17-16.
No, but that almost never happens because look, the top scoring teams in the league. Tell me where they are. Top scoring team: Dallas Cowboys, Miami Dolphins, San Francisco 49ers, Baltimore Ravens, Detroit Lions.
Right.
I mean, you got Buffalo Bills. Keep going down the list. Eagles, Rams. The first team that didn't make the playoffs in the top 10 is the Saints, and they just barely missed the playoffs. All right, so out of the top 10 scoring teams in the league, 9 of them are in the playoffs. Saints lost, via tiebreaker?
I almost think Vrabel is a one-trick pony.
They lost. They would have been in if Tampa lost.
Here's what Vrabel did. He squeezed every last drop he could have, as he should, out of Derrick Henry. Outside of that, what did he really do with the Titans?
He had Ryan Tannehill.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
Can you make Ryan Tannehill? Can you possibly try to make him better? Can you develop that person?
Well, they tried. He probably topped out. I mean, you saw Tannehill play.
Look,
no, they have one year where they were awesome.
You're asking me how I feel about Vrabel. I'd be lukewarm. I wouldn't be like leading a parade that Mike Vrabel is taking over the NFL team.
I feel like lukewarm's fair. I think that's where I'd fall, lukewarm.
A lot of these offensive coordinators that get jobs, they ain't great. Some of them are good.
Understood. Some of them are duds.
Some
I
of
get
them
that.
They just miss.
So where you'd fall in excited category?
I would like Mike Vrabel, yeah.
I think Mike Vrabel's a great coach.
He's proven. He's a really good coach. I don't know if he's great.
I concur with Cakes. It feels Ron Rivera.
I don't think there's one thing that's exciting about Mike Vrabel.
Especially given the last 2 seasons.
He's better than good, but he's...
All right, but there's only one guy on your list.
No, untrue.
Who else are you excited about?
I'm
excited about a young...
Why is Bobby Slowick exciting to you?
I just feel like that guy...
He's so unproven.
Understood. But
unproven.
He proved something with a number 2 pick by leading them to the playoffs in his rookie year. That shows me something.
Well, the number 2 pick has something to do with it, too. He's pretty talented.
Definitely.
I'd be excited for Harbaugh.
Well, obviously, but Harbaugh's not coming here.
You wouldn't be excited for Johnson?
Not really.
Johnson's arguably the belle of the ball. He's the one.
I know.
Ben Johnson.
I'd be lukewarm on him.
Vrabel brings something that this franchise has lacked for years. It feels like this gritty, you know what I mean? Just scratch and claw every single play type coach.
I also feel like uber prepared. I can remember games where he was totally outgaming the other coaches. with challenges and manipulating the rules.
He seems very cutting edge when it comes to that stuff.
I feel
players will run through a wall for him.
Like I don't think it's fair to compare him to like Sleepy Ron.
I think
Ron.
Mike Vrabel is going to get a job in 20 seconds.
he'll get hired with the
Vrabel's
quickness.
not disinterested.
No,
We
no,
weren't
no.
calling him
He's
Sleepy
locked
Ron
in.
4 years ago.
Okay, but turns out that's what he is.
I understand that. But when Ron came here,
I
his
thought it was a good
reputation and record were very similar to Mike Vrabel.
Except
He
that,
probably had a better resume just because he'd been to a Super Bowl.
but he had only won 3 winning seasons out of 9.
Okay. Well, Vrabel's
it's a much
3 for 6?
Yeah.
Or 4 for 6?
I think
3
4
for 6.
3 for 6.
Yeah, I just think he's better. I think he's more cutting edge,
I like Vrabel.
locked in.
I like him okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like him.
I'm not saying
okay.
he would be, in this instance, would be my number one choice. I just think he's a great coach, a winner, and I think he'll be successful wherever he goes.
I almost want a guy who's been there, done that before, even though he hasn't gone to a Super Bowl. And it's a small sample size, 6 years, than a guy who is, been at whatever team for a couple of years, offensive coordinator. Okay, the offense is good, but he's got really good players.
But look at Staley. Everybody loved him because he was he was an analytics guy, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that his whole deal? He
He was
all
a
about
defensive coordinator.
Yeah, but he was all about the analytics.
Yeah, no, he was
and
going
blew
for it on
up
every
in his
fourth
face.
down.
The guy was a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Again,
also
but you also have to have the personnel.
Slowick is an analytics guy, and he's a rising star. And he's like 36.
Not to say that analytics shouldn't be a part of it, but I don't think it should be all everything.
No, it shouldn't be everything.
Like, I love the fact, I don't know if we even talked about this, but the other day or maybe 2 weeks ago or so, Andy Reid kicked 5 field goals.
Mm-hmm.
It was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
He wasn't just going for it haphazardly on every fourth down just because they were across the 50 like every other coach in the league does.
Right.
I don't know.
Jason, who do you prefer, though? Because you're a Quinn guy, too. So let me give you choices
Dan
of
Quinn?
retreads. The retreads that they are interviewing or potentially interviewing.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Quinn?
You've got Dan Quinn, defense coordinator of the Cowboys, who coached with the Falcons. You have Raheem Boris,
He's
defense
down on the
coordinator
list.
of the Rams, who coached with the Buccaneers and was acting an interim guy for a while.
Yeah.
And then you've got Vrabel.
I go
Stack 'em.
Quinn slightly above Vrabel. I like Dan Quinn.
Quinn,
the
to me,
Salisbury
totally
connection?
smacks of Ron
Salisbury
Rivera.
connection there. Personal bias.
So that is, yeah.
I don't think that's fair about Quinn. Quinn has been very successful in his 3 NFL stops. I mean, he was a DC on one of the greatest defenses in the last 20 years in the Seahawks.
Yep.
Then he went to the Falcons, took the Atlanta Falcons to the Super Bowl, and then he completely rebuilt the Cowboys defense.
Ron took the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
there's
number one
I
pick.
just listed 3
No, he
teams.
didn't. Cam did.
Yeah, and Cam Newton was the MVP.
Yeah, some would argue
So I'll-
Ron along for the ride.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
well, some might argue that Dan Quinn's success rate fell off once Shanny left. When Kyle left.
Right,
Matt
your-
Ryan had his best year with Kyle Shanahan.
coordinators
They went to
matter.
the Super
They're-
Bowl.
they're important.
He left. Dan Quinn fell
Let me
apart.
tell you,
That's just me.
Dan-
Look, I'm just saying, to me, he smacks of Ron Rivera. Similar record, similar resume.
Dan Quinn would have a Lombardi trophy if it wasn't for Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, Dan Quinn wasn't part of the defense that couldn't get stops?
Everyone knows Kyle Shanahan blew that game.
Yeah, Dan Quinn gets such a pass on that. He
Yeah.
never-
Doesn't
he
defense
never-
have to get a stop?
But yeah, it's fine. I kind of agree with you, but he never gets blamed.
Right, it's all Kyle.
on Kyle.
Yeah, they kept throwing the ball.
I think Vrabel would be successful here, but I don't think he's coming here. I think if Patriots open up, he's going there, and it makes all the sense in the world. But I think Vrabel would be a good choice. Yep. I like Mike Vrabel.
I think Vrabel will be a good choice anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't think he's even, I think he's a great coach. I'm not sure he's my number one choice, though. I don't even know if I have a number one.
He's a nice option if you don't land Ben Johnson. It's kind of the way I would look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Okay,
rather-
here's the thing.
So
Ben
out of all
Johnson.
of the names that are available, if Ben Johnson takes another job, who do you like?
And then he's in a quagmire.
You don't know.
Well, here's the
Stop,
thing.
I'll be
Cakes
honest. I'm kind of
quagmire.
fixated on Ben
But here's the
Johnson.
thing: if they have the number 2 pick, in all likelihood they're going to select a quarterback. So why would you pick a defensive coordinator? You got to pick an offensive guy, I think, to kind of mold and build around whatever quarterback you select.
That's fair.
I don't know. In this instance,
But I think Vrabel's smart enough. It's not like Vrabel was running the offense. Vrabel's smart enough to go out and get a guy.
Of course, he would have a guy.
Yeah.
But I would think that, like, especially like if you're ownership, you want to be in direct, communication. You want to make sure the whole organization's on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
I just think you want an offensive guy for this particular group, even though like 5 of their 7 guys are all defensive guys.
I like Aaron Glenn too, but that's true. The majority of the guys they're interested in are defensive guys.
If you're hiring somebody to fill a role for a company, I just feel like why would you limit the candidate search to just the people on the left side of the room? Why are you not?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
You should interview those guys.
I mean, but I'm just saying is like the cakes out there are just automatically eliminating you if you don't have any kind of offensive experience.
He's just going with the trend and the statistics right now point to the offensive coaches.
I would want the best guy for the job. I would want the best guy for the job.
I want the guy that's going to score the most points.
Not the guy to more success. But the math is on his side. Right now, the math is on the side of hiring the offensive coordinators. Those are the guys who are getting their teams to the playoffs.
You're not going to go anywhere with the 31st, 32nd ranked defense.
Mike Vrabel, who was let go as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Apparently there was some sort of power struggle there. 3 winning seasons in 6, 54-45 record. Took them to an AFC championship, went to the playoffs 3 times.
The biggest thing that jumps out at me about Vrabel, I don't know if we want to continue on with this whole thing, and I was talking to the boys about it, is I can remember games where like he was out coaching Belichick, right? Or he was like manipulating the rules to his advantage, excellent with time management stuff.
Complete opposite of Ron Rivera.
I feel like he's always prepared.
Totally prepared.
And I feel like that he's overachieved with what the roster they've already put out there.
Yeah.
Every year the roster is just okay. The one year where they were the 1 seed, Tannehill had a bomb year. Mm-hmm. Henry had 18
I think
rushing
if you look
touchdowns.
up, they scored like 500 points at you.
A.J. Brown had a bomb year.
Yeah.
Right? So when he had the pieces like that in their prime, they was very good. But the last couple of years.
Said, I'm not saying.
Who was their leading receiver? Not this year, because I'm sure it was Hopkins, but the year before. It was probably – who was the kid they drafted?
Treylon Burks. He's really
Burks
done
has been
nothing.
A huge bust.
Trying to think who else is there. I mean, it's just a
– they don't have anybody else.
Bunch of weird pieces on offense.
They had Derrick Henry. It was it.
I just want to be clear. I'm not saying I would hire him right now 100%. I want to interview everybody, but, I mean, I certainly think he's a great coach.
Aiden Dollins tweets us at Junks Radio. Vrabel had the exact same winning percentage in Nashville that Rivera had in Charlotte, 54%.
Ron Rivera is just a jock who came in here and tried to be a CEO. Like he's an old jock,
What is Vrabel? I mean, they're both ex-linebackers who became...
No. Vrabel's involved. He's going to headbutt you on the sideline. I mean, Ron is just standing there trying to fake like he's Joe Gibbs.
Okay, but 4 years ago... we were playing Rivera's halftime speech, and people were getting all fired up.
We didn't get
Look
that
at this halftime speech.
We didn't get that guy. That's not the guy that came here.
My point is, at the point of hiring, you don't know what Vrabel's going to be in 4 years. One would suspect he'd be different, but nobody would have bet.
Pretty sure he's more authentic
you could use
than
that.
Ron.
You could use that
talent.
argument for every head coach.
I'm pretty sure he's more authentic than Ron.
Of course.
Ron came in here and tried to fake his way through like he was some sort of CEO, like he was, he was like the Sergey Brin of coaching or something.
Remember, he didn't actually start coaching until 5 or 6 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean,
in the last
I'm just saying,
season.
It's easy to say that now after 4 years, but 4 years ago, there were a lot of people that were on board with Rivera, and his resume was similar to Vrabel's.
I don't deny that. I'm just telling you what we ended up getting was not that. Yeah. I don't think that Vrabel is going to all of a sudden change and try to be some sort of like highfalutin fancy boy. That's what Ron thought he was.
Look,
Ron was a complete phony.
NFL head coach, you don't have to be an offensive-minded NFL head coach to be successful. You just don't.
For sure.
Of course not.
And you could hire a young genius, and he could be your OC.
And it's not like every hot OC gets a job right away. I mean, some of those OCs stay where they are.
And a lot of them fail.
And some of them fail. Right.
Look at the donk that went to Green Bay for a year. Or went to Denver for a year.
Hackett.
Yeah, he was an unmitigated disaster.
By the
Didn't
way,
even last a season.
At 54% is not that bad. Kyle Shanahan's is 55%.
Right. 54% is actually pretty good. It's pretty solid.
Ron, we all knew he was burnt out when he came here.
Yeah, Ron just...
Well, then he got cancer, too.
I'm sure that affected him.
Yeah.
And Dan. I mean,
yeah. He had a lot to deal with. I mean, he wasn't a good head coach, I agree,
No.
but he had a lot of stuff to deal with.
He had a lot on his plate. There's no chance he knew everything that it entailed when he accepted the job. He didn't know it was going to be that.
Up in like the name and the freaking helmets.
Yeah, I know.
mean, it was so dumb. He was doing dumb
I would have
stuff.
told, if I were Ron, I would have said, let somebody else deal with that. I got to deal with actually coaching the team.
Well, that's why he said in that last interview, he said for the first 3.5 years I was managing.
Right.
Right, but I think that's what he wanted to do. I think he wanted to come in here and be Joe Gibbs.
Well, if you're in charge of everything, hire somebody. You're the helmet and logo guy and name change guy. You go take care of that. Just give me the Cliff Notes
he came
version.
in here and tried to be like Tom Landry or something, back in the day. No. You're an ex-linebacker. You're supposed to be like Vrabel. You should be headbutting guys. You should be getting in their faces. You're not some CEO. You're
And Vrabel doesn't want to be that either.
Yeah, I don't think he would be.
No.
I think Vrabel would be Mike Vrabel.
I think this headbutting guys is so overstated.
I like it.
There are a lot of guys in the league who are uber successful or pretty calm on the sideline.
Sure, but that's not
With similar demeanors.
that's not his person. It was fake. I don't think that was authentic Ron. We got Ron coming in here trying to be a CEO. Like, if you're a little nerd like Mike McDaniel, fine, be a nerd. That's who you are.
I would take that nerd on my sideline any day.
Of course.
Any day of the week.
That's who he is.
Yeah.
That's fine. But Ron tried to fake like he was some sort of like highfalutin.
Yeah, he thought Ron thought he was a wine and cheese guy when he was a beer. He was a beer dude.
Yeah. Dude, you're just an ex-linebacker. You're a dumb jock.
Just like Mike Vrabel. All I'm saying,
But
Doesn't matter
Vrabel
if
is
you're
authentic.
excellent. Yeah.
He's authentic.
you didn't call him unauthentic 4 years ago.
Okay, I'm pretty sure
people
Vrabel's
change.
not going to
I
come in here.
know.
He's not going to come in here and try to be a CEO and be some snooty head
Just
coach.
because they're ex-linebackers doesn't mean they're one and the same. Of
course.
They're different styles. They're different.
But their
different
success rate as head coaches, similar.
But I throw that out the window. They've had totally different personnel.
Turns
Totally
out-
different teams.
Turns out Ron is a disaster. Okay,
I
as
just
a
wouldn't
head
be so
coach.
convinced that Vrabel's going to be a success wherever he lands.
The evidence I've seen from Vrabel is he's way more plugged in. Ron didn't even know he could be eliminated from the playoffs. You think Mike Vrabel would ever be in a situation where he
No.
would know
I don't think anybody
his
would
team
be.
was going to be eliminated?
No.
from
I don't
the
think
playoffs?
anybody would be.
I mean, Ron literally.
Hey,
let me just say
I
this.
answered this. I would be lukewarm. I'm okay with Vrabel.
There's a
I just
guy-
would be a little reticent. He feels a little Rivera.
There's a former player who came to me, and I couldn't believe he said this. He said, Ron is dumb. And I was in denial. You know what? That guy is right. He's dumb.
You think Ron's a dumb person?
Dumb. Oh, the evidence is there.
I don't know.
The evidence is there.
Give
He
an IQ
changed-
test.
He'd do very mediocre.
Cakes, he's dumb. He went with Fitzpatrick, Wentz,
Yeah.
Howell.
The evidence
That's
is
what he was
stacking
riding
against
his
him.
future
he was
on.
Remember early on, I can't even believe we're revisiting this, but he was like, oh, we're just trying to develop. Then all of a sudden he was trying to win the division.
flip-flopper.
And then it was, we got to win by year 3. And then it's like, oh, we don't have any players. And then it's like, when we win, next year, give me my ring. I mean, the guy's all over the place.
I'm not defending Ron Rivera.
Said dumb stuff at every press conference.
I was the only guy in the room that said they should have fired him before this season.
Didn't know.
You guys were all on board with giving him another year.
Didn't, well,
I
he
was
had 2
not.
years left on his
I said
contract.
if he made the playoffs, maybe. I didn't say give him
No,
another
I'm
year.
saying before this season.
Because
you gave him this
you
season.
wanted to hire a coach
you wanted
a week
to
before the season.
You wanted to fire him in March or
yeah, it was
April.
just
You wanted
too
to fire
late.
him during the draft.
It was just too late.
Sure.
That wouldn't
I mean,
be
who else you
fair
gonna
to a
have?
new coach. You wouldn't want that.
I wouldn't want 8 straight losses. And that's what you got with Ron Rivera.
Well,
Because turns out he's one of the most god-awful head coaches in the history of the league.
That's why I would have cut the cord as soon as possible. You guys, you love to give guys extra years. You wanted Gruden to stick around forever.
I
if
wouldn't
you
have had
hired Jay Gruden, I would have a chub.
I wouldn't have had a problem.
I think he's
I'd be
likable.
sized for
I wouldn't
Jay.
have had a
His record
problem
wasn't good.
firing Ron after the season last year.
Correct.
But you have to make that decision like within a week. You can't wait until the spring to do it. Guys are already
Yeah,
playing.
it was just too far
down the
Guys
road.
are already
That
in
was
their
a
role.
That's why I
timing
disagree.
thing.
Yeah. And Dan couldn't fire Ron because Ron was the guy that was.
Yeah, and Dan was worried about other stuff.
Yeah.
Right, I would have
last thing
fired
you-
him then July 20th.
Dan put like a freeze, a spending freeze on everything. I mean, it wasn't going to fire him with 2 years left. All those
Who
guys.
are you going to get
hire
July
a whole new
20th
staff.
before the season?
Could have
Yeah.
given Bieniemy a shot.
He sucks.
Could have given Jack Del Rio a shot.
He sucks.
That would have
There's
worked
no
out.
buzz on Bieniemy. Any Bieniemy buzz
Yeah,
is
yeah.
officially dead.
I haven't seen him on
I've
one
seen
list.
his name. No, but I haven't seen him on any
Before
interview
the season,
list.
like before the hiring phase in the last couple of days, I saw Bieniemy being rumored with the Chargers, for
Right.
example, but I haven't seen him on the interview request list. Now he's part of that might be that he's no, it shouldn't matter. I was gonna say he's still working for the Commanders.
He's still under contract here. He
Yeah,
signed a
but so are
2-year
all
deal.
those other guys in their spots.
Right.
Well, who knows? A lot of those guys might just sign one-year deals. Bieniemy, no, but a lot of those assistants just sign one-year deals.
No, but those assistants are expected to still be working. All the ones that are under, like Ron cleaned out his office, but the other assistants are still there working
You know what I'm going to
till
check?
they get let
Yeah,
go.
what
They're
are
gonna. He said that.
I know, but what are they doing?
They're doing preparation. They're doing end of season evaluations. They'll give those reports to the new staff, whatever. And then those that are interested will probably have an opportunity to interview with whoever the new coach is.
Trying to see if Vrabel's name has been added to any of these lists yet. I mean, the Carolina Panthers are interviewing everybody.
Well, I'm going to guarantee you they're going to add Vrabel's name to the list.
Yeah,
I
I'll
would
be
guess
stunned. You might be right. I'll be stunned if he's not coaching in 2024.
The Chargers have already interviewed Giff Smith and Kellen Moore.
Is it GIF or GIF? I don't know.
GIF.
That's GIF.
I think that would
Gifford?
be
That's
GIF.
that's got to be GIF. Not GIF. No chance.
But a GIF is a GIF.
I go with GIF when I'm
you're
looking
Ben
for
Johnson-
wacky GIFs. Yeah.
If everybody wants Ben Johnson, I'm looking at the Chargers list. All right, so the Chargers, they've interviewed 2 in-house guys, Kellen Moore and Giff. I've already forgot his last name. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Brian Callahan, Steve Wilkes, Todd Monken, Dan Quinn, Patrick Graham, Raheem Morris, all on the list. If you're Ben Johnson, let's say they offer you the gig, and you also get offered the Commanders gig, which one are you taking?
I might want to start fresh with the number 2 pick, whoever that quarterback's going to be.
So you don't
Instead
want
of starting
Herbert,
Justin Herbert.
You don't want Herbert, Mike Williams,
I mean, Mike Williams is banged up all
Keenan
the time.
Allen.
Keenan Allen's getting old.
You got one of the Boses. Eckler. You got some pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to live in L.A. No thanks.
I think
Get taxed about 70%.
I think I take the Commanders gig if I'm Ben
Really?
Johnson.
Well, there's going to be a bidding war for him.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to go whoever.
He's the hot commodity.
Wasn't he the guy that said that he is through his agent that he wants 15 mil?
That was a report. I don't know if that's ever been validated.
I think isn't that what top guys are going to get? I mean, think
I
about
don't know if the
Harbaugh.
inexperienced
what is Harbaugh
guys
making at Michigan?
I know, but I don't know if the inexperienced guys get that. Like,
Well,
what,
Yeah, there's no way.
Well, if you get
Who was
multiple
hired like
teams,
this past year?
if you have options, if Ben Johnson has 2 teams offering him, he's going to be able to jack up that salary.
Mike McDaniel supposedly is making about $3.5 million.
Wow,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Unbelievable.
You got to get David Tepper in there driving up the price.
Look, Sean Payton's going to get $15 million, but the hot coordinator's not going to get $15 million.
They got to work their way up to
I
that.
think he's
chance.
going to get more than you think.
D'Amico Ryans isn't getting $15 million. No way.
No. But those guys weren't as hot.
I don't.
I think McDaniel has got to get a huge raise in the offseason. He's got to get a huge
Maybe.
raise.
I don't know. But just to start out, I don't think they're getting.
I think they're going to
They're
get
not getting
paid a
that much.
lot. Especially,
I don't like that people just forget about the bust analytics, offensive boy wonders that come in and out of this league.
like,
Nathaniel Hackett, like
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time.
Nagy, who was the guy from that would just Kingsbury? Big, I mean,
Cliff
biggest dud
Kingsbury,
ever.
Big dud.
I mean, these guys bomb out all the time too. So Slowick and Ben Johnson those guys could be
course,
absolute
they're
duds too.
total unknowns.
You got to have talent.
And Jay pointed that out in his interview with the guys the other day, and he's like, he's not going to have that experienced quarterback. He's not going to have Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's not going to have the running backs.
Jahmyr Gibbs, stud,
Yeah,
rookie.
yeah.
Laporta,